Things are really changing when it comes to the world of narcissistic abuse recovery. For example, when I started my channel 7, maybe 8 years ago, there weren't that many channels out there that were talking about narcissistic abuse recovery, and narcissists, no matter what category of narcissist they were, had very little to no interest in watching videos about narcissistic abuse recovery. But that has changed. In this video, I want to give you guys 4 things that have changed. The first is that covert narcissists love watching narcissistic abuse videos. So why covert narcissists in specific? Why do they love to watch narcissistic abuse videos now? The second thing we're going to go over are their motives. What are the motives of covert narcissists when they're watching narcissistic abuse videos? The third change is the now new educated narcissist. We're going to look at how they show up differently. And the last thing we're going to go over is if the educated covert narcissist appears to be changing, how can you stay grounded and not sucked into their more covert drama triangle? So we're going to dive into all 4 of those things right now. So let's get started. So let's start with why covert narcissists. Okay, covert narcissists being the typical wolf in sheep's clothing. Overt narcissists are very obvious in how they treat people. And the reason is because they really do think that what they're doing is right. They really do think that everything about them is perfect and amazing. Now you might be thinking, well, doesn't the covert narcissist believe that as well? Well, the difference between the overt and the covert narcissist, the overt narcissist is so confident in who they are as a person, no matter what you think of them, that they don't hide their abuse, right? So they could care less. In fact, they feel like it's a compliment if you say that they're narcissistic. Whereas the covert narcissist knows there's something wrong on a subconscious level. They know there's something that they're doing isn't right, which is why they hide their abuse from certain people. And so the overt narcissist is like, they could care less, it's a waste of their time, but they're going to view it as like, big deal, you can think whatever you want. Whereas a covert narcissist 10 years ago had little to no desire to watch a video about narcissistic abuse recovery because they wouldn't have identified as being a narcissist, and they wouldn't have felt like narcissistic abuse had anything to do with them. I remember a client telling me that he had a conversation with a female covert narcissist that he had been dating for a long time, and this was probably 6 years ago. So the information was starting to come out, right? And he explained to her everything she was doing with the terminology that is very common right now. Gaslighting, projection, the double bind, where nothing you do is right, triangulation, the drama triangle. He explained it all and showed her what she was doing. And he said when they first were talking and he was explaining it, she was fascinated because she herself did not even realize that there was a thing, there was terms for what she was doing, and that other people could notice what she was doing. So all the information that has become available has been so helpful for victims of narcissistic abuse, right? They're starting to be able to point out and notice what emotional manipulators are doing, but it has also become something that the manipulator is watching now as well. And here are the 2 reasons why I think covert narcissists like to watch narcissistic abuse videos. One of the reasons I feel they watch narcissistic abuse recovery videos is to try to find ways to further gaslight their victims. In other words, one of the things they do by watching these videos is they try to twist and turn what people are saying so that they can spread what's known as fake news. The reason people spread fake news is to damage the reputation of a person. If they can get you to doubt the source of information that you're taking in, then it's only going to pull you back into the fog of narcissistic abuse. Their logic is, we can't deny the reality, we can't deny this information is out there, so let me discredit the person saying it. Their goal, as always, is to be the one that controls the narrative, to control truth as well. The second reason why covert narcissists now love to watch narcissistic abuse recovery videos is even more sinister. And it's so different from the motive why other people that might be accused of having a diagnosis or a personality disorder might watch these videos. For example, if somebody tells you that you're codependent or that you're a people pleaser or you can't control your emotions, those accusations might hurt, right? And let's say you go to look up information about it, part of you might be hoping and wishing that the information proves that that isn't the case. However, an honest-hearted person that is able to self-reflect will also be able to notice when it does hit home, when it is proving something in your case, even if that truth is painful. And so that person would begin watching videos on that topic with the goal, I'm imagining, I'm hoping, if you're at all healthy, the goal would be to see how you can get better. It would be about personal development and healing and getting stronger and growing. That would be a normal reason to watch a video that describes a certain characteristic flaw or personality disorder that you might have. Covert narcissists, on the other hand, are not going to watch a video and contemplate that there's something wrong with them. No. Now that they see that there's so much information out there, and it's not even that there's so much information out there, now that they're seeing the results of all of that information out there, that people are understanding these games, they're being able to spot manipulation, they're no longer carrying the blame of this type of manipulation, which in the past, it was so confusing. Remember the days when no one understood what narcissistic abuse was? And so you would have this conversation with the narcissist, and then by the end of the conversation, you would be apologizing and you didn't even know why, right? Because that's how confusing it was. Well, those days are getting fewer and further in between because people are starting to understand it. And so narcissists are noticing, like, I'm not getting the supply that I used to. And so they're going now to the sources, the same sources that victims of narcissistic abuse are going to. And their motive is to learn how to be a better narcissist. So this is a great segue into the third part of this video, where we're going to discuss the educated narcissist, how they show up, what's changed. So thanks to all the information out there on narcissistic abuse recovery, people are really starting to, again, come out of that fog. The fear, the overwhelm, the guilt, the consequences of the chronic manipulation. People are really starting to shift, and it's been wonderful. Covert narcissists themselves cannot deny it. The gaslighting isn't enough anymore to be able to pull people back onto the drama triangle. And so the educated narcissist is now learning. They're learning what's getting them caught. So when they watch a video about narcissistic abuse recovery, they're not watching it with the thought, how can I get better? If they could really have a serum that would force them to speak truth, they would actually tell you, actually, I'm watching this video so that I can learn how I'm getting caught, so that I can continue my same manipulation games without you realizing that we're still playing them, so that you can continue to blame yourself, continue to strive harder and harder to find the secret formula to make me happy. A formula which, by the way, doesn't exist because I could care less about your happiness. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? If a narcissist could talk, that's what they would say. Their whole goal is to find out, how are they getting caught? How is their narcissistic supply getting cut off from them? And what can they do to get it back without you knowing that they're getting it back? I've seen results of the educated narcissist even in the topics that clients come to me for, where in the past they were kind of learning how to pull themselves out of the fog. The questions they ask now, as the narcissists in their life become the educated narcissist and are watching videos like mine, yes, I know you're watching, the topic are, has this person really changed? I'm noticing a difference. They really are changing. They never said this before, and now they're actually saying this. They never did this before, now they're actually doing it. So is the educated narcissist the same as a healed narcissist? Have they really changed? Let's get into that. Let's answer that with an illustration. So imagine a car salesman, and by the way, I have nothing against car salespeople. In fact, my son just bought a Tacoma and loved my car salesman. So absolutely nothing against anyone that is in that industry. But as we know, there are also people that sell cars that are just looking to make some fast money, and they're willing to sell you a lemon to do so. So let's imagine there's a car, it's a lemon, the motor's dead, the transmission is shot, the oil tank has a leak, the engine itself is filthy, the car on the outside is filthy, it's disgusting looking. You see that car and you're like, no way, I'm gonna buy that car. And so the car salesman, he washes the car. He opens the hood and washes the engine. And he even gives it a paint job. Now that car is looking really nice from the outside. But the reality is that it still has the same motor. Nothing that would mechanically cause a change in that car has changed, just the exterior. That's what the educated narcissist is. They're like a broken down car with a paint job. They may be able to make the outside look as if it's changed from a surface level, but the inside is still the same. And so if that's the case, this leads me to the fourth part of this video, which is how do you keep yourself from getting sucked back in onto the drama triangle by an educated narcissist with a paint job? We all know that the words and actions of a covert narcissist do not line up. They can have such beautiful words, but their actions are never on the same page. And so even if it looks on the outside as if the narcissist is changing, one of the best indicators that this narcissist is simply becoming a better narcissist and not really changing is how you feel after conversing with them, after spending time with them. Because they will say such nice words, right? But normally when somebody's saying nice things and being kind, genuinely kind, you leave that person feeling good. But you see, the narcissist, because it's only at a surface level, their kind words are met with these very subtle ways that they have of demeaning, devaluing, and making you feel shame or in some way, shape, or form bad about yourself. And this is how they become better narcissists, because the reality is that only a small percentage of our communication is verbal. In fact, most experts agree that 70 to 93% of communication is nonverbal. In fact, a professor named Albert Mehabrian, and I may not be pronouncing that correctly, he developed a rule in the 60s that states that 7% of messages are communicated verbally, 38% are communicated through nonverbal communication, and 55% are communicated through visual communication. He also states that nonverbal communication is a subtle but powerful form of social messaging that affects nearly every part of our daily lives. That being said, if the narcissist in your life has given themselves a paint job, right, and appears different, and you're wondering if they're really different, all you have to do is pay attention to how you're feeling. After conversing with them, do you feel good? As you're in a relationship with them and you're spending time with them, when you leave their presence, what are you feeling inside? And if you notice that you're still feeling the exact same things, although they appear to be changing, you're now with an educated narcissist who has become a better covert narcissist. I will be honest though, even if you can sense, right, their words are saying one thing, but it doesn't feel good inside, the only way that you will not get sucked in is if you have self-trust. Narcissists love to keep people in confusion. They love to erode at your self-confidence so that you're filled with self-doubt. Because if you don't trust you, guess who you will go to in order to get help? You're going to wind up going to the narcissist who's going to spin a narrative that's going to suck you back in. So you really have to take time to heal your self-esteem, your self-confidence, your self-worth, your self-trust, your self-love. And that's exactly what I help people to do in the School of Transformation. So if you're ready to put the focus on you and you're ready to do the inner work to heal from narcissistic abuse from the inside out, come join me at my live weekly meetings on Zoom. I meet together live with survivors from all over the world of emotional trauma, and we do the inner work to change our self-image, to overcome emotional flashbacks, toxic shame, social anxiety, self-abandonment, and so much more. But to sum it up, what we really do is we come back home into our body. Narcissistic abuse, and in fact any kind of emotional trauma, makes us live from the neck up. Right? We're trying to learn our way through life. We're up here all the time ruminating, and we forgot what it's like to be in our body because, to be honest, it wasn't safe to be our authentic self. And so we came up here and we're living up here. But true healing is about coming back home into your body, and that's what we do in the School of Self-Image. So if you're looking for an affordable resource to help you to do so, make sure you come and check us out.